and welcome to Alive to Thrive OT. I'm Lauren Lyman.
And I'm Tracy Schnabel.
And today we're going to talk about the art of Reiki, which is a form of energetic healing. But first, we just want to say we're two occupational therapists that noticed a gap in the healthcare system. So we're here to help bridge that gap and educate you guys on how to be healthy, both in the healthcare system, but also on your own so that you don't have to use the healthcare system as much. Everything we talk about is for informational purposes only, so please consult with your medical provider about any specific medical concerns that you have. And then we don't have any warranties or representation, so please proceed at your own risk. And if you do have a medical emergency, please call 911. So without further ado, Tracy, let's talk about Reiki.
Okay, so as occupational therapists, we help people maximize the best use of their energy, right? So we do energy conservation instruction for people that have like multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's to help them be able to be as independent as possible and maximize the use of the energy that they do have, because a lot of times with disease, we have less energy. So naturally, I started getting interested in energetic healing when I started to learn about it, but I didn't know about it in school. I learned about it much later in my career, and I got certified in Reiki 1 and Reiki 2. And so I'm just going to give a short synopsis because I kind of know a lot of different things about Reiki, but I want you to stay with us and be interested in it because it's so cool. It's so amazing and it's so easy and really anybody can do it. So, and it's just really beautiful. It's a beautiful art form and the history of it is really interesting. So I'm going to go who, where, how, when, what, and why would we use Reiki, just to do that quick synopsis for you. So who had it, who had invented it, and it was Dr. Usai, and he was a doctor from Japan. And just in case you're wondering, like, who would this be good for? It was good, he found, to help people with physical ailments, emotional ailments, and spiritual ailments. So if you have a physical problem, in my research and learning about it, found out like a lot of people with PTSD or fibromyalgia, again, physical or mental, it has been tremendously helpful when all other things have failed. So if you know someone with those different conditions, it might really help them. Or if you just feel low energy, I mean, how many of us have low energy, or how many of us are depressed, or have anxiety? It's really good for a lot of things, but particularly those areas I found it to be helpful in. But anyways, so Lauren, it was invented by Dr. Usai, and he was actually a Christian priest, which is really cool, and a teacher. And he was asked by a student one day, and we talk about this in our videos, about the healing Christ did. And they wanted to know, did he know how Christ healed? And did he really believe in those healings? And he really couldn't give a good answer for it. And it kind of bothered him because he was very passionate about being a teacher. So he started doing some research himself of, not only the Christian scriptures, or, I shouldn't say Christian scriptures, but not only of the traditional scriptures that are located in the Bible, the Old and New Testament, but he started studying Buddhist scriptures. He started looking at healing across religious contexts, including Buddhism. And then he was finding in India, like this very old writing, if you've ever heard about it, Sanskrit. Mm-hmm. So it's like the original writings, right? So it goes way, way, way back into our history. This is why I love history, because it really can teach you a lot of things. I think we always think that we're progressing forward and we know everything, but I find that you can learn the most when you look back. And he found in Sanskrit there was this way of healing where they used certain symbols to heal, and it had phenomenal effects. And he didn't quite understand how to use those healing symbols at the time, so he just kept doing more research. And then eventually he did meditation and a fast. For I forgot how many days, it was over 30 days. And we talk about too how we found out that fasting, different types of fasting, is great for you. And I thought about it kind of esoterically. I think it's really good for you because fasting is a way to separate yourself from being so attached to the physical and to start really tapping into the spiritual or energetic body, the part of you internally that's not attached to the physical that's there. So I think that's part of the reason too why fasting works and has helped so many spiritual teachers come to states of enlightenment. And anyway, so he came to a state of enlightenment after fasting for so long and meditating every day. And he like saw all of a sudden, because he's like, I don't know what to do with these symbols that I found in Sanskrit. And he saw just like this beautiful shining light. And then he saw like all the chakra colors coming down from the top chakra down to the base. And he was seeing all the symbols for each one. So each one has their own symbol. And he started to understand about how to use this to heal people. So, and Reiki, I'm going to get to the, like, what is it? It's using these certain symbols to heal people and to bring on healing. So they're sacred symbols, and it's like a communicator with linking with the universe and with God, with a higher power, to bring in like the energy of the earth, and that connects us all to help heal. Okay, so I know that sounds like really abstract and it kind of like maybe hard to bite onto, but
if you haven't seen our video, Humans as Electrical Beings, watch that first, because that's going to tell you the science behind why this isn't crazy.
Right, I worked really hard on that.
There is science behind it. We are electrical beings. We do have frequency within our bodies. Every object in the world and the earth itself has a frequency that affects our health, behavior, mood, all of that. So this is working with frequencies. I can transmit my frequency to Tracy. She can choose to accept it or block it with her mental capacity and her power as an individual. We don't all tap into this though. So sometimes we need somebody to help us do these things. And that's, I think, where Reiki can be really important.
Yeah, especially if we're like blocking ourselves off to a lot of different things, our connection to others, our connection to the earth. So in that video, we also talk about how grounding, you guys have all heard probably of how when you walk outside barefoot, you can connect to the earth, and it can help you feel better. Because the earth has its own frequency as well. We have our own frequency. We're talking about that. You know, there's so many electrical things going on. The heart is very electrical. And that's why Jesus, I think, in a lot of portraits was pointing to the heart. It has its own electrical magnetic field. It is so strong what your heart can do. And when you have blocks in your heart, or blocks in your body, you have a block in the energetic and magnetic field. And so what's so interesting too is because I was trying to, like, I knew in my soul that Reiki was real and that it was working, but as a scientific background person, I wanted to explain how it works. And it does have limits with explaining it scientifically, but again, with understanding, like, we have an energetic body. So there is energy running through us, whether you look at like the blood that's running through you or the electrical signals or the electrical magnetic signals. There's constantly energy going through your body all the time. And we think of things in a very physical, like table is hard kind of way, but even in metaphysics, which we talk about in our other videos, we're finding that if you like look at an atom and you look inside it, the very basic subatomic particles, it's not solid. It's constantly moving, and they found this in science. And the way like we're influenced by so many things, like those signals we're sending to each other and how we're processing things affects our energy flow. So if you have a block in your heart, or you have like a block anywhere and you're tightening your body, you're not moving that flow, and you're not, it causes disease. So, and then but the chakras also correspond with, because I looked up chakras and it actually just means the wheel, but it's like how do the chakras like correspond to the body as we've been taught in like basic science or even advanced science if you're in a medical field. Well, actually, it's really interesting because the chakras actually correspond, and I have this book about Reiki, which I learned. I'm excited to try to open it up. So these are the chakras, the different energetic centers. I have you hold it. Thank you. I'm going to point to it. So there's all these chakras. There's actually more than that, but if you look on the right, there's like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are like the basic ones. and they correspond, if you look on the other page, to different glands. So the top chakra is the pineal and pituitary, and then there's the thyroid, the adrenal, the pancreas, and the testes and ovaries for the lower ones. So they're corresponding with the endocrine system. So in the body, you have these organs, and it's okay, I just wanted to kind of show it, that correspond with the chakras. And again, like if you have, I guess the adrenal is the easiest one to understand. If you have a lot of stress, and we talked about this in other videos, and your cortisol is like pumping and you're constantly like on a fight mode, you're not going to get a lot of circulation, right? You're not going to get a lot of energy flow because you're constantly like thinking that you're being under attack. So like our body is connected to our emotion because blood and your electrical signals and your organ functions, including your endocrine, is going to be out of balance if we have problems. So, okay, Tracy, how does Reiki tie into that? Well, Reiki ties into that because they're aware of how the body functions. I feel like this is the very, very high level knowledge of how the body works. It's one of the highest I've read about and learned about. And so it gets to the underlying cause, like Lauren was saying, of all of our problems. And it's almost like meditation when you use it, and you do the symbols and you move over the different chakra points in the body, and you have the person just breathe, kind of like meditation. You're able to do a system reset and relax your body, and through intention, kind of change how the body is reacting to things. So we talk a lot about how intention is so important. Again, it's the focus of our video here. We want to educate people and get them to be aware of, the different parts of their body, the different parts of their mental health, the different parts of their nutritional health, so that they can do better with that. And if you have awareness, that's the first step in change, right? So they say that in a lot of psychology books. So awareness, your consciousness, can impact your reality. So it's bringing attention to your energetic body, and that for your need to just take a breath. So a lot of times the person, what they end up doing is they lay down on a table now, in a lot of like holistic centers, and you have somebody like do the symbols for the different chakras, and then you put your hands as the Reiki practitioner over the different areas, and you can actually feel blocks. You can feel differences. And what's really cool is like, so here is like the throat chakra. If somebody doesn't communicate their needs, you can feel the energy there. You can feel that it's blocked. And you can talk to them about it afterwards and say, hey, like I noticed that this chakra felt different than the other ones. You probably, like I worked on you, and you can have the intention of healing and love sent to them, and go over the different points and focus on the ones that have a blockage. But you can also talk to the person and communicate to them, bring their awareness. Hey, you need to communicate more of your feelings and your needs because this is being blocked. And I know sometimes I question myself. I'm like, am I really like not communicating enough, or do I not say things when I should? Well, like it's kind of bringing that to your awareness of somebody else to say, yeah, it's validating that inner feeling. So it's really interesting. Dr. Usai, he was in Japan, and he started going to like the slums of Japan, like the really poor areas, and like helping people. And another interesting note, like when he was using the Reiki to heal them, their bodies would heal, but they would go back to being sick if they didn't give permission. And really want the healing. So an interesting part of Reiki is like understanding like the underlying psychology of human beings, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't want to get better. That blew my mind when I first heard it. I was like, what do you mean sometimes people don't want to? You have to want to get better. You have to want to heal. So sometimes we talk about forgiveness, like in other videos. Sometimes we have a problem forgiving others. Sometimes we have a problem forgiving ourselves. And when we hold in that unforgiveness in our emotions, we cause disease to happen. So we really have to be loving to ourselves and ask, like, yes, I want healing. Yes, I want to be in a different state. Yes, I want to take on more responsibility and reintegrate into society and be my best self. So this is like a very big, multifold thing. It's beautiful how it's the beautiful understanding of the human spirit. So, he noticed this when he was giving it to them. And he also noticed that there has to be an energetic exchange too. So like people have to also want to give something too. So a lot of times in Reiki, like you teach people how to give and receive, because that's a huge part of the human condition as well. If you look at happiness studies, the happiest people in the world aren't the people with the boats or yachts or cars and 1,000 things. It's people that really feel like they're able to contribute to others' happiness. To feel the most fulfilled. So it's also a philosophy, kind of like Taoism, which he also studied, is this idea of receiving love and giving love. And that is the highest state of being. And this is kind of what a lot of other spiritual teachers like Jesus was teaching, is that everything comes from the heart. And again, corresponding with science, the heart has the largest electrical magnetic field, higher than the brain by a lot. So the heart is very powerful. And when we open up our heart to healing and to giving, our body gets better and our spirit gets lighter, and we're more connected with the source of everything. And Reiki actually means, Rei, it means like light or wisdom, God, and Ki is like energy. So a lot of different cultures talk about energy. So you've heard of Tai Chi, right? So Chi means energy. In Christian cultures, we talk about the Holy Spirit. That's also your energy. In India, they say prana. So they talk about breathing a lot, which we'll do a video on. You can kind of like feel your energy when you do certain breathing techniques as well. So it's just all over the world, there's different ways of tapping into this. When I was in New Zealand, the Maori people did healing too, using energy healing. So there's so many different cultures over so many periods of time that have understood that there's an energetic body. It's just that the West doesn't really talk about it like in the medical profession as much, but they're starting to, because now we're hearing more and more about energy medicine, right? Mm-hmm. And there's research too that Reiki is helping people in VAs with PTSD, and it's helping people with cancer. And it makes sense with cancer because I watched a lot of documentaries. A lot of causes of cancer is repressed emotion, people not communicating their needs, people holding in their emotions and not sharing. And that causes disease and illness in the body, and it's horrible for you. But again, in our society, we're always like, oh, we have to be unemotional beings. Like there's something wrong with you if you show emotion or express emotion. I think especially too it's probably for women and men, but in different ways. So it's just really like this beautiful, 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 beautiful energetic healing technique. And in the first level, you learn to go over the different chakras and transmit loving energy to the person. And the second one, it's distant Reiki, which I was just talking to Lauren about, which is really cool because you could do the symbols, but you can just think about the person and think about sending them loving energy. So sometimes we can't always give people loving energy because they're not available to us, but you can send it to them. And I know that sounds like bizarre, but think about it. Like if you're close to somebody, sometimes they'll call you at the same time you think of them. Or you'll start, when you're around somebody a lot, you guys will start having a connection in your thoughts and feelings. And so there's a lot more to us than what we're taught. And there's a lot more to other cultures and what they know and ancient knowledge than we give them credit for. So like I said, if you have a physical, mental, emotional ailment, give Reiki a try. It really doesn't cause any harm. And it's just really a beautiful philosophy about how to live here on earth, and how to live in yourself and with others. So yeah.
And even if you think about all the components of Reiki, okay, they're using breath work, and we know that breathing, and it sounds weird, but breathing certain ways can actually help relieve stress, can help overcome physical ailments, mental ailments. Breath work is very important, which is why a lot of cultures focus on it, which is why yoga is so popular, because it's focusing on not only the physical strengthening, but on breath work, which is so important to health. So it focuses on breath. It focuses on the fluidity of your body, the flow of everything in your body, your vitality. And it focuses on energy, which frequencies, we just talked about frequencies, that is scientifically proven. So you're affecting the frequencies of somebody's body. Someone who is in a meditative state has a different frequency than someone who's stressed out at work. So if you're able to help change their frequency to one that is more similar to yours, that's the concrete, the scientific aspect of it. So very powerful. Give it a try. Just give it a try. You know you can feel other people's energy. So this is just a way that you can help use somebody who has very good energy and healing energy to help heal yourself.
And I've seen it work. Like it is very abstract even for me because I was raised in Western culture, and I've done it with people, and every time I've had people be like, even really skeptical people, patients of mine that were very like not into that stuff at all or didn't know about it or wouldn't do it normally. They were like, wow, what did you do? Can you explain to me more? Because I really needed that. So yeah, it's something to check out, and we just wanted to share it with you.
So thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Please like our video, share it with people, subscribe to our channel, and sign up for some alerts so you know when we post videos. Or you can go on www.facebook.com/Lauren and Tracy, and we post all of our videos there, sometimes some articles and things too. So check it out. And if you have any questions about Reiki, or you want to give it a try. If you have any questions about the nutritional product that we recommend, please send us an email at alive2thriveot@gmail.com.
And we are wishing you, as always, physical, emotional, and spiritual health.